Excellency Mr. Muhammad Mustafa, Prime Minister of the State of Palestine, to deliver a statement.
Excellencies, distinguished delegations, I'm honored to be among you all today, and I wish to express the State of Palestine's deep gratitude for the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and France for their leadership and for undertaking the responsibility entrusted to them by the General Assembly in co-chairing this historical international conference. I also express our deep appreciation to the co-chairs of the working groups for their dedication, also the President of the General Assembly and all states and organizations for their contributions. I'd like to thank the United Nations, represented by the President of the General Assembly and the Secretary General, and through them, all of the United Nations, for their relentless efforts to deliver on their sacred mandate, including the United Nations personnel on the ground who does so at the peril of their lives. Excellencies, this conference holds a promise, a pledge to the Palestinian people that the historical injustice that befell them must come to an end. What's happening in Gaza is its latest and most brutal manifestation, and we are all more than ever compelled to act. This conference is a message to the Palestinian people that the world supports us in the realization of our rights to life, liberty, dignity in our land, and of our right to our sovereign state. This conference is also a message to the Israeli people that there is a path to peace and regional integration. It will be achieved through our independence, not our destruction, through the realization of our rights, not their continued denial, that Palestinians are not condemned to perpetual occupation and exile, and Palestinians and Israelis are not doomed to be at eternal war, that there is another way, a better way, that leads to shared peace, shared security, and shared prosperity in our region. Not for one at the expense of the other, but for all. We hope they hear this message and grasp this historical opportunity. For very long, the idea was to leave the matter to the parties, relying solely on their goodwill. The result was entrenched occupation, an ever-worsening situation, and more violence and loss of innocent lives. The reality is that while the parties have their obligations and responsibilities, the rest of the world has also obligations and responsibilities in ensuring we achieve self-determination and just and lasting peace. Therefore, we welcome the approach taken by this conference to identify what's required from all actors and to promote concrete and decisive actions with clear mechanisms and time-bound commitments. All states have a responsibility to act now, to end the war on our people in Gaza and throughout the state of Palestine, to secure the release of all hostages and prisoners, to ensure the withdrawal of Israeli occupation forces. And we, of course, support in this regard the mediation efforts of Egypt, Qatar, and the United States, and the actions undertaken by all states to achieve these goals. The massacres and the engineered starvation by Israel must be brought to an immediate end. We all must act to reunify Gaza and the West Bank, including East Jerusalem, with no occupation, no siege, no settlements, no forcible displacement, and no annexation, and to rebuild Gaza with and for our people. In the occupation, achieve Palestinian independence, and implement the two-state solution with Palestine and Israel living side by side in peace and security towards achieving regional peace, security, and prosperity. This requires support to the Palestinian government in assuming its sole governance and security responsibilities, with regional and international support in the Gaza Strip and throughout Palestine. Hamas must end its rule of Gaza and hand over its weapons to the Palestinian Authority. And we stand ready to invite regional and international forces to be deployed in full coordination with the State of Palestine as a part of a stabilization and protection mission with a Security Council mandate to provide protection to our people and ensure the ceasefire is observed by all parties, and to guarantee the security of all sides in support of the role of our government and our security forces, and not as an alternative to them. The ceasefire should be extended to all Palestine and should be accompanied with the cessation of all illegal measures. I call on all of you to take every action you can take to advance these goals, ending the war on our people, ending the occupation, achieving shared peace, security, and prosperity. I ask you to do that without delay or hesitation. Too much is at stake. We have demonstrated an ironclad commitment to peace in the face of brutal violence. With your help, we can demonstrate there is a peaceful path to liberation. In this regard, I salute the historic and courageous decision of France and President Macron to recognize the State of Palestine in September, and call on all those that have yet to do so to recognize the State of Palestine without delay. Indeed, the path to peace starts with recognizing the State of Palestine and preserving it from destruction, and by empowering the forces of peace in Palestine, Israel, and the region and the world in their efforts to implement the two-state solution and achieve just and lasting peace, a peace that serves and serves Palestinians, Israelis, and the region. There is no viable alternative to the peaceful settlement of the question of Palestine based on the relevant United Nations resolutions and the two-state solution on the 1967 lines. And there is no two-state solution without an independent Palestinian state with East Jerusalem as its capital. Every state represented here can do what they can, but they must act now to promote compliance and deter violations, to promote commitment, not indifference, to advance accountability, not impunity, to achieve just and lasting peace, not fuel perpetual occupation and conflict. The Palestinian government is determined to continue the implementation of substantive reforms in impossible circumstances. First and foremost, to be able to do better to serve our people, and also to better cooperate with our regional and international partners. We do not shy away from our obligations, and we are ready and willing to assure all our responsibilities in Gaza and the rest of Palestine. We ask that you help put an end to the Israeli policies who, at the political, financial, and military levels, constitute an existential threat to our people, our state and its institutions, and to peace. The idea that peace and security can be achieved by the destruction or subjugation of our people is a deadly illusion. The only way forward is shared peace and security. Our people are not going to disappear, but they are losing lives and loved ones every single day. Commitments has to be given to secure their future. Communities are under attack by occupation forces and settlers to try to uproot them every single day. The Palestinian people have suffered for long and cannot be demanded to simply endure. Their agony must be brought to an end. Our people have an inalienable right to live in freedom and dignity in their ancestors' land. The region is ready to move forward now, but not at the expense of Palestine and the Palestinian people. The rights of all peoples must be respected. The sovereignty of all states must be ensured. Palestine and its people can no longer be the exception. Thank you.